I stay right there if you are having some relationship issue or want to take your relationship to next level, or you are in transition. Sometime we have a midlife crisis. That's what we call it. My today's guest, you are not alone. My today's guest is personal life development coach, expert, and mentor, and he is a spiritual director. I'm looking forward to learn about what does it mean, and his focus is on global good and helping people to remove their obstacles. My name is Mohammed Bashir, and please help me welcome my guest, Leo Richard. Welcome, Leo.
Hey, Mohammed Bashir. It's awesome. Thank you for letting me be on your stage, the EEC stage. All that kind of jazz. And it's good network to be a part of. Thank you.
Let me start with this. Where were you? What happened? Who are you surrounded with that inspired you to do what you do today?
Oh, that's okay. So there's two key areas in my life. One, about 6 years ago, I did a complete life overhaul. I reset my entire life from scratch. I had $200 in my pocket, and I could have gone down the legal route and fought for my life and all that kind of stuff. But I decided to just kind of completely recreate my life. I ended up career-wise doing much the same as I was doing before, just in a new kind of version or new iteration of it. And then as a teenager, I was kind of like the bad guy, chip on my shoulder kind of deal. And life based made me do some, or life made me kind of check my reality. And I had a friend die when I was about 17 that made me go, like, what's the point of life? What's the meaning of all this? Like, we're just chasing this, we're just chasing that. And that's like, what's actually the meaning of life, if there is one, right? Kind of deals. So yeah, so those are a couple of key moments in my life that stand out for sure.
What are top three mistakes to avoid?
Not listening to your intuition, to your, like, something isn't right for you. Most people try to get into the nice guy or the nice girl or be polite or whatever dynamic, but and not say no. And so, like, people pleasing, like, stop the people pleasing. It doesn't actually make people happier or do any justice for yourself in your life. That's like the number one thing that people from what I've seen is they get hung up on is they just can't say no, and without being a bad or feeling guilty or breaking up with their family, and that's with their employees, and that's where with this kind of this and that. The other one isn't so much like a mistake per se, but it's more about like keeping your learning alive. So if you constantly do the same thing over and over and over again, your brain kind of gets minimalistic in a certain way, and it shuts down certain other parts of your brain. So because you're always doing the same routine, like say like seniors, and they're people suggest you do puzzles to keep your brain fresh and stuff like that. But if you're doing the same puzzle over and over and over again, like Sudoku or something, and over, you're not learning. You're doing the same thing over and over again. And so you need to have this variety and in your growth and in your learning. And that's another kind of area to like really expand on, is to really learn something new, challenge yourself. It's not really a mistake, but if you want to keep your brain wired and healthy and alive and happy, is to constantly learn new stuff. And I learned this from my neurotech years. I used to be deeply involved with cutting edge neurotech with people like recovering from strokes and concussions and stuff like that. And the biggest thing is to really engage yourself with learning and that aspect. So those would be the two kind of top pieces. And specifically to relationships, like the big mistake is that you're circling back to like not dealing with your stuff, your emotions. And a lot of people tend to project and blame and get in resistance as the other person's the issue, and everybody's responsible. If there's a relationship breakdown, everybody's 100% responsible for the relationship breakdown, because it's part of your life, your creation. So if you just give up and blame the other person, it's never going to resolve. It doesn't mean they don't have any fault, but when you're 100% responsible for your relationship, you're going to recover it. Or if you really want to can end it, then you're still in charge and you're responsible for the decisions that you need to make in that regard. So, yeah.
What is your greatest failure story? What did you learn and how did you recover from it?
My greatest failure story. Oh boy. I don't know if failure is the right word, but like I would say like holy that kind of dynamic with my life overhaul. In 2014 I sat everybody down in May, business, personal relationships, and told them I was resetting my life because I felt like I was compromising my integrity, and I couldn't figure out what was off in my life. I'm teaching everybody to be authentic and real and integrity, and so sat everybody down in May. Told them by the end of the summer, by the end of August, that I would have my life figured out, what I'd be doing with work, relationships, whatever. And people then proceeded to rip my life apart. They just weren't like people that were supposedly supportive, ended up ripping my life apart. And so I don't know if this is necessarily a mistake, but it was like a really heavy, holy crow, what am I doing with my life? But it was all this pressure to try to get me to conform back to the old version of myself. And so I don't know if that's necessarily a failure, but it was definitely one of my darkest moments in life. But the thing to like navigate through that kind of aspect is to what is your intention? And for me, it was about integrity, regardless of what was being done to me in my life. I was like just about holding integrity and going forward with that intention. And then that helped me do that. So I don't really take failure. And I think it's always an opportunity to really thrive if you can. Like the greatest inventions in the world have come from failure, right? Or mistakes. So there's like some really cool things if you have the right mindset to, sure, it's quote unquote failure, but like, is it really? And where are you going with it? What are you going to do with it? What's the meaning you're going to generate from it?
So let's move to success now. And what are your top 3 success secrets that others can follow?
Meditation, absolutely. That would probably be 80% of the 100%. So meditation is number one. If you do not have a meditation practice or prayer practice or way to recharge or regenerate or that aspect, you're going to burn out. If you're an entrepreneur, you might be successful for a year and then you're going to fizzle out. You need to have some sort of way to decompress, to de-stress, to unwind. And that isn't a bottle of wine at the end of the day. That's gonna, it doesn't work. Like it works, it takes the edge off, but it doesn't work long term. Organization, I love pen and paper because it's right in front of my eyes. I can go through it rather than on a phone or wherever. So pen and paper and meditation, like old school stuff, right? And then the other one would be to eat healthy. Food is your fuel. So if you're eating junk food, sugar, all that kind of stuff, your thinking's not going to be totally spot on. And then, and all that kind of aspects. So food, meditation, and well, there's a few other secrets, but those particular ones for sure.
Okay, give me one more.
Give you one more. Unpack your brain. So your brain is capable of very few high impact decisions in a day. And if you've got all this stress in your head, relationship issues, if you've got this thing going on, that's taking up the bandwidth in your head. You need to get it out of your head and on a piece of paper and into a to-do pile or into a forget about it pile or somewhere out of your head onto like paper. So it's not like taking up the bandwidth in your head. And then so that you can think clearly about what it is that's, moves the needle the most in your life.
Thank you. Leo, we are entering into a speed round. That means quick questions and quick answers. Are you ready for it?
Sure. Let's give it.
What is the most impactful business book you have read and what did you learn from it?
All right. So what I really like is this book here. Screw It, Let's Do It. And the reason I like it, the title is cool, but Screw It, Let's Do It. And I like the like nonchalant, just I don't know what your language barrier here is, but just a screw it, right? And it's just sort of like, you get all these doubts and these hesitations, and it's just like, forget about it. Let's just do this, right? And then that's a very masculine energy. It's a very like, I'm, decisive. That's how you get progress in your life, is to be decisive.
What do you want to be remembered for?
Oh, well, I don't know. Maybe with my daughter, to be a good dad. I'm not too gung ho about being remembered. I'm very collaborative. Like one of my big bets is I want to create global peace, but do I want to be remembered for that? I don't know. It's more about like the things that I don't even, I don't know. There isn't really too much. Just, being a good dad.
How do you overcome a challenge life throws at you?
I meditate. I have a very specific style of meditation. So I meditate and I focus and I get clarity through my specific type of meditation practice.
What do you want to do when you grow up?
A hockey player? No. What do I really want to do? I've always had this vision since I was a kid of being in a field and this wind kind of blowing over across me, and the wind kind of felt peace, like the global peace. It was just kind of wrapped me up since I was like 9 years old. I've always had this vision of global peace.
Once you have a revenue generating idea, how do you convince your significant other?
Well, I'm currently single, and then I tend not to bounce stuff like that with a significant other, just because it's my business and I tend to keep business out of the relationship space. And unless it's like investing hundreds of thousands of dollars or more, then okay, maybe. But usually the money comes out of the company, then it goes back in the company, it generates that kind of aspect. But yeah.
What are you grateful for today?
Waking up in my bed, in my warm, comfy bed. Not everyone gets to do that.
Who is your living mentor and what is the impact they have on you?
I have a few, and and they're all men that are like high profile. I don't agree with everything about them, but I appreciate a lot of them, like Richard Branson, for example, and Elon Musk, and those types of folks. I really like the kind of dedication and the space they hold for their companies. I really love the fun that Branson holds around his company. I think that's really kind of great attitude to have. I like Musk's kind of hustle and work ethic, and and one of his like key things I heard that he's like, find the problem. The bigger the problem you're solving, the more money you can make. And so I really like that kind of attitude towards something. And then you're also providing a service for the world by solving a problem, right, while making money, which is really cool.
Why is being impactful important to you?
Because people change, and we need a lot of change in the world.
How do you start your day?
Depends on the day. Today, I'm getting on a podcast and having my smoothie. Any other day, I wake up. Well, any day I do this. I recommend people to kind of take anywhere from 10 to 30 minutes once you kind of initially wake up and just process, think about the day, envision, dream about life. Just let your mind wander for a little while. It's really good for the brain to just think and not get, I gotta go do this, that kind of aspect, and just be chill for a little bit.
Who is your ideal client?
My ideal client are people who are focused on eco, social, or global good that have the scaling attitude. They want to like scale their businesses and scale the difference that they're making in the world, not just sort of like, maybe I'll make a difference, but really have this motivational factor to really, I want to make a difference. We're at, species extinction going on in the world right now. It's pretty dire. Like, it's really, really bad. More people are dying per year from environmental crisis than COVID, but we're not making a big deal about it. And so we need players to step up.
What is the advice you would give to your younger self?
To my younger self, make more mistakes.
How can we support you?
Share the video and support too. Oh, haha. Go to my website. You can go to DLRichard or dlrichard.com and just check me out. I engage more on LinkedIn. So I'm basically all the LinkedIn / things. You can go to DL Richard. You'll find me on LinkedIn via that handle. And yeah, that kind of jazz, and can connect and ask me questions and check out my videos and check out this particular video here as well.
What would you say about your guest experience on the show?
I think you're really cool. You seem really like you've done. We did a pre-screening, really chill. You're really positive. You like to what's the word? Not meticulous, but impeccable. But you're very good on your word, and you're very I like you. You're good. Yeah.
What would you say as a final word?
The final word. Make more mistakes, enjoy your life, and not necessarily forget about the bad things, but forget about the bad things and just get on and focus on what you want to focus on in life.
Leo Richard, thank you so much for your time and wisdom on the behalf of Entrepreneur Empowerment Club. We really appreciate you. I hope our path cross again with another amazing content. Until then, you have a wonderful time.
All right, cool. Thanks, man. Peace.